Hello, I am Dr. Stickney, and welcome to Ask the Vet Live, presented by Good Charlie Energy. I am testing a new webcam today, so we will see if there are any technical difficulties as we go along. But today, as usual, we will be talking about events going on with Spay Neuter Network and things we have happening that can be of benefit to your pets. We'll talk about things that are happening in the pet community, and we will take your questions. We'll answer them live as you send them in, and we also will answer questions that have been emailed in ahead of time. It is cold in San Antonio, and the cold and the flu are making their way through work and through my house. So if I sound a little stuffy and a little scratchy, that is why. We'll see how my voice holds up. As the weather is changing and getting colder, this is a great time to take a look at the energy plans that Good Charlie Energy has and see if any of them will be right for you. Every time you pay your bill to Good Charlie Energy, they will make a donation to organizations that help dogs and cats, such as Spay Neuter Network. You can find their link down below. Let's see. And I'm being told that everything looks and sounds good, so we're in good shape. All right, thank you. So let's see what we have going on. December is National Cat Lovers Month. And it's a great thing to think about cats and people who love cats. They are fantastic companions. Even if they do view us as their staff and they're in charge, they are great pets. December being Cat Lovers Month brings up some things that we should think about and talk about with cats, because there are a lot of hazards around the house that are not typically there that we need to be aware of, and this involves a lot of things with the holiday season and the Christmas season and gifts and presents and things like that. So just to talk about those things for a few moments, remember, like we were just saying, December is cold. So if you have a indoor-outdoor cat, this is going to be a time to think about making sure they're indoors at nighttime and when it's going to be really, really cold so that they stay nice and warm. If you have an outdoor cat, you want to make sure that you're providing them with shelter so that they can get out of the wind and the rain and the snow potentially. We won't see that in San Antonio, but I'll bet some of y'all up north will. And we want to make sure that they always have food and fresh water. Remember that a bowl of water will freeze in the freezing temperatures. So you want to keep an eye on that and make sure that they have actual water to drink and not just a block of ice. Inside the house, we're decorating trees, we are setting up lights, we are wrapping presents, and those trees are a big temptation for a lot of cats to go on a little climbing adventure, and that can create some destruction in your home and can also potentially injure your cat. So keep a close eye on your cats around those trees and make sure that they don't want to start climbing and exploring them. We want to make sure they're also not too curious about electrical cords and things that are plugged in. If they start chewing on those or batting at them, they can certainly get electrocuted, and that is not good either. Tinsel, ribbon, these are things that cats like to play with. Yarn, and that is really cute and fun to watch, but those can become what are called linear foreign bodies. So if a cat eats tinsel or it eats ribbon or string, anything long and thin like that, what can happen is it can get stuck in their gastrointestinal tract. It can get stuck in their intestines, and when it gets stuck, the thin material, the ribbon, the yarn, whatever it is, will start to saw through their intestines, and that is a life-threatening emergency surgery to have that removed. So we want to be very careful about linear things that your cat can play with and make sure that we are keeping them out of reach of those things. Cats are fantastic. It is a great month to love them. So those are just some things to keep in mind. Over at Spay Neuter Network, our holiday campaign is open now. Support us and donate. This season, give pets the gift that matters most: health, safety, and a fresh start. Your donation helps families keep their furry loved ones happy and healthy, and we will match all gifts up to $25,000. We will be doing this until December 31st, so the entire month of Cat Lovers December. So please consider to donate to us if you are able to, and we will turn that right around to helping the dogs and cats in the community. We would like to thank everyone who has donated to us this year. We appreciate everyone who has supported us this year in 2025. Without your help, we are not able to do what we do. Our mission is to provide wellness care and spay and neuter services to as many people as possible, as affordably as possible. And we all know that that prices are going up everywhere, and wherever you can save some money and still have things done right, that is a good thing, and that's what we do at Spay Neuter Network. And it is through those donations and that support that we are able to maintain our fees where they are reasonable for so many people. So thank you so much for that. And speaking of reasonable fees, nothing is more reasonable than free. And we have some upcoming free vaccine clinics this month. So all of our vaccine clinics have free parvo distemper vaccines for the dogs and free FVRCP combo vaccines for the cats. And then we can give other vaccines at a low cost. So great things to take advantage of. You can get all of the details at spayneuternet.org, our webpage, or on this Facebook page. The vaccine clinics that we have coming up, one of them is DFW Pets Our Family, and this sounds like it's going to be a fun thing. This is at the North Texas Fair and Rodeo in Denton, Texas. It is next Saturday, December 13, from 9 in the morning until noon, and there's going to be free pet food, our vaccines, and all kinds of activities from the sound of it. It sounds like it should be a great time, even if your pet is already caught up on their vaccines, things to see and do with them. And then this coming Saturday at 9 a.m., we will have a free vaccine clinic at Dallas Animal Services. So please, if you need to, please take advantage of those things, and you don't have to worry about remembering the details. They will all be posted on our webpage, and you can find links to that here. Okay, so while we are waiting for some questions to come in, we have some that were emailed to us previously. One of them is a holdover from last month that came through right as we were wrapping up, and this is from Tammy, who asks, please give ideas to help keep ferals, etc., warm during the cold. So this is regarding feral cats, so community cats that live in the neighborhood. They're fun to watch, but they don't necessarily call any one place home, just their neighborhood is their home. And they require, they like to be on their own, but being a feral cat is not an easy thing, especially during the cold winter months. So it's great if we can help them, and being as this is Cat Lovers Month, that's again a great thing to do. So, some things that we can do. Number one, being cold is one thing, and your body can generally shiver and take care of itself when it's cold for a while. But if you combine that with wind and rain or snow, then you've got a real problem. So one of the most important things we can do is just make sure that we have some sort of a shelter that these cats can go into. And it can be simple. It can be a cardboard box. It does not have to be anything fancy. It can be an enclosed crate. It could be those like enclosed litter boxes would provide shelter for a feral cat. The important thing is that there is a way for it to block the wind and keep the rain and the snow from falling on them. So that is a very important thing for keeping them warm. Another thing that will help them is to put straw or hay in that container. Straw is nature's blanket, and it does a great job of wicking away moisture and staying soft and dry. You will want to put fresh hay in there occasionally, but it is a great way for animals to stay warm and provides a barrier from the cold ground. So that is an important aspect of that. Being cold and shivering takes up a lot of energy and burns a lot of calories. So if we have community cats that we're feeding, we want to make sure that we continue to have that food available to them so that they are able to get the energy they need to keep themselves warm internally. And we want to make sure that they also have access to fresh water, and water will freeze when it's cold, but if you add a couple of drops of vegetable oil to the water, that will make it not freeze as fast. So that is something that's a little trick that you can use for the feral cat as well. And those will be things that will go a long way toward making their winter time much more comfortable. Okay, other questions here. All right, so Steve writes in and says, my mom gives my 15-year-old chihuahua, he's like 5 to 7 pounds, very small, a sleeping pill every night so he doesn't, excuse me, so he doesn't bark and call for her. He says she leaves him in a crate at night away from her, which he hates, so he barks. To stop this, she gives him a pill that a vet prescribed to him to help with flying. He is in very good shape for his age and has no medical issues. I don't want this to mess that up. It's good. Is this safe to do, and are there any repercussions? If they are, I'd like to share them with her. Okay, so the most pertinent question here is exactly what is this pill that she is giving, and I'm going to defer to any advice that the veterinarian that she sees gives, because he's the one that has that relationship with her. But I will talk generally about some sedatives. One of the most common ones that we use nowadays is a drug called trazodone, and it is a sedative. It makes dogs relaxed, and we use it commonly for things like traveling. It is a very safe drug. It will make them very sleepy, but it does not have any long-term systemic effects. There are some older drugs that could be used. One of those is acepromazine. It can have problems, it can create issues with blood pressure, so it is not something that you would want to use regularly. And then there are other sedatives similar to Valium that are not recommended for long-term use. So those are some things to keep in mind, and perhaps some things that you can talk with her about, and some considerations. If we are on, if the medication is something other than trazodone, you may want to see if that is something that can be prescribed for the dog. All right, so we have two questions that are kind of related, so I'm going to address them both here at the same time. The first part of this is from Miranda, who writes in to say that we are fostering a very young kitten my husband found at work. He's too young to test for feline leukemia virus, so we're keeping him separate with his own bowls and litter. That's excellent. The vet said he looks good, but confirmed he can't be tested yet. So their questions are, should we keep him fully separated until he's old enough to test? Our cats are vaccinated, but should we update their FeLV, feline leukemia virus vaccines? And then, is limited supervised contact safe, or should everything stay separate for now? And a similar question comes in that Emily writes in that says, I rescued a tiny kitten who has well, that's not the one. We'll come back to that one. Rachel says, I rescued a small kitten who is a little dirty from being outside. That's not the one either. So I am going to, okay, here it is. Lots of cat questions because it's Cat Lovers Month. Okay, so I'm just going to back up and keep this more focused than on the original question, which is, we have a kitten that's too young yet to be tested for feline leukemia virus, but we're bringing it into a house with vaccinated cats. We do not want to expose the vaccinated cats to the feline leukemia virus. So Number one, it is a great idea to keep them fully separated. Yes, your cats are vaccinated against feline leukemia virus, and that is fantastic. But why take risks if you don't have to? It sounds like this cat is doing well being separated from the other cats, and it sounds like that is not an issue. So if that is the case, I would continue doing your in-home quarantine of the new kitten until we get that negative FeLV vaccine result. If your older cats are up to date on their feline leukemia vaccine, that is great. There is no particular need to booster them before they need their next booster. So that is not going to be an issue there. However, if the kitten does test positive, then I would go ahead and give them an FeLV booster now. I would, until we know for sure, I would just keep contact. I would keep them completely separated. They can make noise at each other through the door, but otherwise, if we don't need to take a risk, let's make sure everything is good before we do that. That is a great question. Feline leukemia virus is a virus that causes cancer in cats, and it is spread through close contact from cat to cat, and that is why we want to make sure that we have cats that are negative, new cats that we bring into our home are negative for that before we introduce them to our already present cats. All right, here is a question that's come in from Helen, who asks, what age can a male dog make puppies and females get pregnant? Great question. So dogs reach sexual maturity generally at about 6 months of age. It can be a little later for large breed dogs and even longer for giant breed dogs, but a good rule of thumb is sexual maturity at 6 months of age. So if you are in a position where you have an unspayed dog and a not neutered dog, as soon as she goes into heat and he's 6 months old or older, he is going to be very interested in if he can make puppies with her or not. So you would want to go ahead and get him neutered ahead of time. We at Spay Neuter Network will neuter puppies that are 2 months old and 2 pounds in size, and they never miss them. So that is a great question, and that is the way to keep that from happening. Excellent. Oh, let's see here. I lost a window. There we go. Okay, so let's see. Let's go back to some of the cat questions here. Okay, so Jackson writes in and asks and says, hello, my cat is indoor only, but I found a stray kitten outside who seems friendly and I want to help him. Before I get him tested and vaccinated, I'm keeping him separate for now. What's the safest way to handle introductions at this stage? How long should I wait before letting them see each other? So this is an excellent question, Jackson, and this is the question I was looking for to relate to our FeLV cat kitten question. So, as we have already said, you'll want to get this kitten vaccinated and you'll want to have him tested for FeLV, feline leukemia virus, and also for FIV, feline immunodeficiency virus, before we introduce him to your already existent cat. I'm going to assume that your cat that you have right now is current on its vaccinations. If it's not, you'll want to get it boosted before you introduce this kitten to it. And we'll also want to have a negative FIV, negative FeLV test on the kitten before we introduce it to your cat. So that being said, what you'll want to do then is keep this cat in a separate room with its own food and water and litter box so it learns the routine. And the cats will be able to communicate with each other through the door, but they'll not have direct contact with each other. Once we're good on our vaccines and we are negative on our FeLV test, what we're going to do then is take a t-shirt or a towel or something like that, and we're going to rub it on the one cat, and we're going to take another towel and we're going to rub it on the kitten, and we're going to trade those towels so that the cats can get the scent of each other and become familiar with that and not feel blindsided when they meet each other. We're going to let that happen for a couple of days, a few days, and then we are going to let the cats see each other, but not necessarily have a lot of direct contact. We're going to have them look at each other through like a baby gate so that they can see each other. But if the older cat decides, I don't like this kitten, he can't immediately like pounce on the kitten. There's a barrier there. And we'll just kind of let them get introduced to each other like that over a couple of days, and then we can introduce them to each other in a very safe and controlled environment where you're right there to separate them if you need to. Another thing that you can consider here is getting some of the cat pheromones that you can purchase at any of the pet stores, Petco or PetSmart, and that will help to calm the already existing cat's nerves a little bit and make it feel in a very good mood and perhaps more receptive to meeting a new kitten. So that whole process is probably going to take about a week or 10 days to make that happen. Okay. Rachel writes in to say that I rescued a small kitten who is a little dirty from being outside. I've heard mixed things about giving kittens baths. Is it okay to bathe him at this age, or should I just stick to wipes or spot cleaning? Just want to make sure I don't stress him out or make him cold. So those are all great considerations. So, cats are generally good at cleaning themselves and keeping themselves clean. So you are probably in good shape just to use some of the moist wipes, unscented, just the water wipes to keep that kitten clean. If he's really, really dirty the first time, you can use some Dawn dish soap on him just one time to give him a little bath and get him all cleaned up. That soap is really, really mild, and then we can just spot clean him from there. You are correct. Your little kitten is going to get cold, especially if he's not indoors. So, excuse me. So you'll want to make sure that you've got him bundled up, and I would just keep him bundled up in your lap until he dries off and is good to go. Okay, we have a question that came in from Helen, who asks, how do I potty and poo train my two puppies? Okay, so that is a great question. And there are several different ways that you can do this. But the way that I usually recommend is crate training them. So there is a natural instinct for a puppy to not pee, not poop in its little den. So if it has a little crate that it associates as its den, it will hold it until you take it out of the crate. Now remember that we will say that a puppy can hold his pee for about an hour per month of age. So the most that we would ever expect a puppy to be able to not have an accident is 2 hours if they're an 8-week-old puppy. So that can make us kind of a challenge because it's a very intensive process. So what you're going to do is take that puppy out at least every 2 hours, and sooner if you can. And if you're going to pee pad train them, that's great. We're going to put them on the pee pad. If we're going to train them to go outside, we're going to go take them outside. We're going to let them sniff around and do their business, and bring a chair because they're going to be puppies, right? They're going to check out everything. They don't have any clue what you want them to do. So make yourself comfortable. But when they do their business, when they do pee, when they do poop, you want to act like they just made the sun rise. Just praise them, pet them, tell them how good they are, give them a teeny little treat, and then take them back inside. So that's all positive reinforcement. What we don't want to do is negative reinforcement, where they have an accident in the house. We don't want to punish them for that because they do not have any recollection or understanding of what they have done. So if you can catch them in the act of doing it, great. Pick them right up, take them right outside to finish what they're doing, and then praise them again while they're outside, because that's the right place to do that. That is the fast version of how to do that. There are a lot of resources online for that as well, but that is what I will typically recommend. All right. Let's see here. We talked about the kittens. Oh, let's talk about a dog. Okay, and this may be our last one we do. We will see how the time goes here. So Celeste writes in to say, my 12-year-old dog has heartworm disease. What treatment would be best, the slow kill or the fast kill? I have a few weeks to decide whether he will get the injections or if I should continue with the slow kill method. The vet says it's up to me, and now I'm so confused about what to do. I understand, because the vet is the expert, and he should have a good advice for you. And here are the two things that I would say. Number one, the fast kill is always preferable to the slow kill if you are able to do it. And the reason for that is that the fast kill will kill the adult heartworms in about 3 months of time versus the slow kill method, which can take years to kill the adult heartworms. And during that time of the slow kill, they are going to, those worms are going to be growing. They're going to be causing changes in the heart that will be permanent, and swelling and inflammation in the lungs, and that is all not a good thing. So if you're able to do it and your pet is otherwise healthy, I think the fast kill would be the way to go. The second thing that I would say here is that old age is not a disease, and that might be part of a discussion that you had, is that, well, he's 12 years old, and I remind myself of this every time I have a birthday, that old age is not a disease. Old age makes certain diseases more likely to happen, but it is not a problem in and of itself. So if your dog is otherwise healthy and has great looking blood work beforehand, we should be able to proceed on with the fast kill without any problem. Now, I've not personally seen your dog, but that is my advice for you to consider. Okay. And then let's see. Helena asks, "What if I don't have a crate?" You can use anything. You can use a box. You use a cardboard box until they get too big for that. You just kind of want something to get that ball rolling. Excellent. All right. Let's see. We've got one more question, I think. Yes. Okay. Here we go. One more question that has come in before from Jason, who writes to say, my cat might have swallowed a small piece of plastic from a toy earlier today. She seems totally normal right now, eating, playing, and acting like herself, but I'm nervous about possible complications. What signs should I be watching for, and when should I take her to the ER? Is this usually an emergency situation? All right, so those are all good questions. Foreign bodies are one of the most common GI emergencies that we see. Dogs or cats or other animals, ferrets, eating things that they're not supposed to, and then they get stuck. They get stuck in their stomach, they get stuck somewhere in their intestinal tract. Now, I am certain that, and I know of a lot of dogs and some cats that eat things they're not supposed to, and they are able to pass them. So that's great. The problem becomes when they are not able to do that. So what you're going to be watching for is vomiting, because nothing is moving through their GI tract because they're blocked. They don't want to eat. They are not acting themselves. They're lethargic. They're painful. They don't want to eat. They don't want to drink. Vomiting is a pretty common sign with dogs, not necessarily with cats, but they are not acting like their normal selves. A foreign thing that a pet has eaten will if it is not going to be a problem, if it's going to pass out, it will usually pass out in 24 to 48 hours when they poop. So once we have reached that window of time and everything is great, we should be fine. You want to keep an eye on it, because every now and again we do see dogs that have something that's been rattling around in their stomach for who knows how long, and just occasionally causes a problem. But if you start seeing projectile vomiting, if we don't want to eat, if they're acting painful or tender, definitely take them into the emergency clinic. They're going to take some x-rays first thing, and they will be able to, the patterns that they see in the intestines will help them to determine if this is something that requires surgery, or if it's something that they can watch and see if it passes on its own. Those are all fantastic questions today, and a great discussion today. It has been a pleasure talking with everyone. Remember that we do this on a monthly basis, and thank you for joining us today for Spay Neuter Network's Ask the Vet Live in collaboration with Good Charlie Energy. Check out all the links below for the things that we have going on at Spay Neuter Network. Check out the links for Good Charlie Energy. If you are signed up with them, you get free access to a vet to chat with 24/7. They have a discount pharmacy, and again, they have a very similar mission to us of making Texas the best place for pets, for dogs and cats to live. So please email in your questions for next time, and we will see you guys in the new year. Take care. Bye-bye.